we've just seen over the past day or two some really, really crazy announcements happening from Trump, and then just some pretty like ballistic moves happening from within the crypto industry. So I want to talk a little bit about this. Like, where are we at, right? I think we're seeing a lot of things happening right now, or I guess I would say a lot of varying opinions happening right now. And frankly, they're a lot more bearish than what I was really expecting. And we're going to dive into a little bit of that in more detail here kind of through the rest of the video. But basically kind of the TLDR is, there was kind of in the September, October type of range, a lot of people were saying like, if Trump even delivers on a fraction of his promises, we're going to be seeing $500,000 Bitcoin. We're going to be seeing, $10,000 Ethereum. Solana is going to be hitting $1,000, all this type of just crazy like moon math type of stuff. But right now, we're basically seeing, in my opinion, we're seeing Trump kind of over deliver, at least with respect to promises that he's made in terms of like announcements of things we are seeing. Obviously, pen has not gone to paper yet, but we are seeing the announcements of the intentions to do that. And so the fact that we've essentially seen this stuff happen, but price is really not, price obviously moved a decent bit today, and we're going to be getting that here in a quick second. But there's the sentiment on kind of crypto Twitter, I would say particularly, is still pretty bad. I think there's a lot of people thinking that, oh, this is just kind of like a bull trap. The market's topped, going down, a lot of that type of stuff. And so I want to talk a little bit more about that. I'd also love to get your guys' opinions and comments. Drop those in the comment section below. I do read and respond to all of those. So if you have anything you want me to see, just drop them down there, because I do really, really appreciate it, and would love your guys' feedback on kind of what is your sentiment. I do typically or often use my YouTube comment section as a really great place for kind of sentiment within the wider market. So just be interested to kind of see what your guys' thoughts are there, and kind of we can take a look from kind of that perspective as well. But diving right in, we can see in the crypto bubbles, obviously ADA the big winner of the day here. Obviously most everything up today, but ADA, Solana, XRP, crypto.com, another one, Trump coin, IP, those are kind of the big ones. I guess WIF also went up a decent chunk today as well. Ethereum up also, again, this is important because it's very, very large, up 9.6%, Bitcoin up 8.2%. These are both the two largest assets in the industry, moving up almost 10% in one day. So really impressive. If we do look at the week, still a whole bunch of red around. We can see IP and ADA kind of being the two big ones that have moved the most consistently. HBAR also being another one there as well. Even with Ethereum's move on the day, it's still negative. We can see with Solana's move, it has flipped back positive, but we can just see how down some of these have been. Even with some of the moves that we've seen today, we're still seeing a lot of red here. So, we'll kind of have to keep tracking that over the next little while, see how that goes. But we can see in the market overview, the main thing that I wanted to focus on here is the RSI heat map. We can see most everything kind of jumping up, I would say kind of one category. So a lot of things that were in oversold are now probably in weak or even up into neutral. And then some of the things that were in neutral have kind of ascended up into the strong. Nothing in overbought at all. We can see that the average RSI is sitting at just below neutral. So pretty interesting thing to note there. We also can see the crypto fear and greed index has gone back up to fear. I believe we've seen it spent a couple of days. 3 days in extreme fear in the past week and 4 days in fear. So definitely very firmly in this kind of fear-based market now, which is very interesting given that, even if in the last month, we could see, we had 1 day in greed, but most of it was just in neutral. So the market has kind of started to slide a little bit back into this fear and extreme fear. Again, historically, good buying opportunities in extreme fear, good selling opportunities in extreme greed. So, and I think this still holds true. If we would have been selling in mid to late December and then buying in mid to late February, really, really good times to be both buying and selling respectively. Again, looking at the past and hindsight being 2020. So just something to think about there. Also, if we look at the liquidation maps, something interesting we are seeing is that we are actually seeing the exchange numbers, or the liquidation numbers, actually flip back to liquidating longs, which again, usually the market tends to follow kind of where the liquidations are. Again, we don't know when, we don't know for how long, a lot of that type of stuff, but we are kind of starting to see that flip. Previously, it was very, very, very much pushed towards moving to the upside. Obviously, we have seen some really strong moves to the upside. And so if we do look at something like the Bitcoin chart, we can see, we'll just load this up here, really, really strong candle here on the Bitcoin chart. This is just one day, so pretty impressive there. Maybe we have seen a bottom. Obviously, we did see kind of prices wicking all the way down to about 78,500 and then kind of coming back up. Given the kind of the wick that we've seen here, the like level of oversold, again, we're looking at Bitcoin on the daily. Given that we have seen that type of stuff, this to me indicates that we've probably seen a bottom. Again, who knows, right? I mean, if we're just entering into the bear market, it's very, very likely that we will continue to see a lower bottom from here. But I don't really think that's the case. I think we're probably going to see, probably diving back into this range, which we are currently in right now. I do think we kind of head back into this range. This is a little bit of a fake out to pull a ton of liquidations, which it worked. So, that is something we need to note. And then maybe we just kind of jump back into this range and continue trading around. So anyway, if you are interested in trading Bitcoin, Ethereum, any of this type of stuff, as we are obviously seeing a whole bunch of volatility going on in here, just feel free to use my link in the description below to BTCC. I do have that link where you do get a 10% bonus on first-time deposits if you do sign up using my link, which is obviously a really good deal. You have extra bonuses of up to $10,055 per user if that's something that's interesting to you. I don't know why it wouldn't be. I love free money. I'm sure you do too. And then also no VPN or KYC necessary. So like I said, got the link in the description below there. Also, I do have links to Weeks and Femex as well if you are interested in either of those and kind of want to give those a try. So moving on, I want to kind of go over some of this crazy news that we've seen happening today. So first off, we can see that Eric Trump says the announcement for a crypto strategic reserve on a Sunday is genius because the traditional markets in Wall Street are closed, obviously giving ETFs or not giving ETFs the ability to react. This is all basically just retail traders. And as we can see, here's a quote here: traditional finance better catch up or it will quickly become extinct. Which I feel like is a pretty fair take. Right now, everything happens kind of on a 24/7 time frame. And, for better or for worse, that's just kind of the reality here. Now, obviously, this is Eric Trump responding to Donald Trump's tweets of basically the announcement of the U.S. crypto reserve. We could see in here he adds XRP, Solana, and ADA specifically, which is why all of those ran so hard today. And then obviously Bitcoin and ETH, these are kind of two that I think were kind of a given here. He added those in, I think, because a lot of people were showing confusion. But I get it, right? I think these kind of went without saying, especially if we're talking about XRP, Solana, and ADA. I mean, if you're including these without these, what are you doing, right? So I think that kind of makes sense here. What we also can see is that Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong says that just Bitcoin would probably be the best option for a U.S. crypto strategic reserve. Honestly, in this case, I actually tend to agree with him. I think Solana still has a lot of wrinkles that it needs to work out. Obviously, there's a lot of, it's unclear how much of the liquidity is actually legitimate. There's a lot of kind of rugs and, pump.fun and meme coins and a lot of this type of stuff going on there, which kind of shades the industry, maybe, not the industry, I guess I should say the blockchain specifically, which is obviously not the best news, right? So that's something that I think that we should kind of keep in mind and kind of take a look at, is just because that's something that's really important to know, right? Is we don't really know what's going on with Solana. Cardano doesn't really have much of a usage or adoption yet, if I'm being completely frank. I know a lot of people fight me when I say that, but it's just true. Look at any metric that you could possibly look at, and it's just true. If you don't want to see that, I guess that's on you. But also then same thing with XRP. Like, of all of them, I think XRP maybe makes the most sense just because it's been around for so long and it's one of the larger market caps. But you guys know my feelings about XRP. I'm not personally a huge fan of XRP just because I think the idea was good when it happened, but since then stablecoins have come out. And honestly, XRP's release of their RLUSD is kind of an admission of defeat, in my opinion, of what they were intending to do with their XRP coin. So again, what the future holds there, I really don't have a great idea or a great sense of where that goes. But that's kind of my thoughts there generally. And so I think this kind of comes back to what Brian Armstrong is saying, which is just Bitcoin would probably be the best option. I would agree. I don't think that Ethereum has a ton of optimism behind it right now. I think it's in a little bit of an identity crisis. So to me, it's Bitcoin's, it's tried and true. It's the oldest, it's the OG, It's got kind of like that strategic or like a scarcity in it. So it's like a store of value, a lot of that type of stuff. That to me I think that's kind of why I would probably tend to agree with Brian Armstrong. I just don't think we've seen enough out of any of the others yet to really kind of put them in that kind of same league. And they're just more speculative, right? I mean, if Bitcoin doubles, but Cardano goes down 90%, the strategic reserve hasn't really done a whole lot in terms of like value. And so I think that's something that we need to kind of keep an eye on and also keep in consideration. Now, the other thing I want to go over as well is this is exactly what I've been talking about for weeks and actually probably even months at this point. I'm here not necessarily to take a little victory lap, but this definitely is the point in which I will say I did tell you so, because we have been talking about this, because this is just simple, like, this is just basic game theory, right? If the US starts making really, really like concentrated moves, which, I mean, if that's not like a really explicit concentrated move, moving in the direction of trying to adopt crypto, I don't know what is, right? The second a major economy starts to do this, it's just in your own best interest to do the same thing. And what we can see here is China plans to unban Bitcoin and crypto in 2025 and create a strategic Bitcoin and Ethereum reserve. This sends Bitcoin and Ethereum flying, in my opinion, because what we've seen in the past, and I believe what we will see in the future, is it's going to be, like I said, it's a simple matter of game theory. If China and the US are in this kind of like ideological Cold War with each other, which I think is entirely fair to say. I mean, they're basically the US and China are realistically in a war, all things but bullets actually flying in the air. There's a very, very strong like ideological difference between the two. There's a very, very strong economic difference between the two. The US is kind of trying to hang on to its place as the like preeminent superpower in the world. China is very, very quickly catching up in all metrics imaginable. And so there's a lot of this kind of struggle between the two. And so when you have one side make a decision like go all in on crypto, the other side, in a sense, is kind of forced to kind of copy or comply, because the first one, if they get too much of a head start, is just going to be too far ahead that it's really not going to matter. And what we are seeing is kind of something like this. And I think this is something, in my opinion, that the US is doing very, very well, is actually really smart, is because the US dollar, no one has the most confidence in it, right? But also, the only reason that the US dollar, in my opinion, hasn't done worse so far is because it's like, where else are you going to put it? There's not really any other option that's better than the US dollar at this point. Now, again, that kind of brings the argument or raises the argument for crypto, but there's not really any crypto that's functional enough yet to like kind of take over as a reserve currency. And so I think that the thing that's really, really, really intelligent from the US is that they're going in and doing stable coins, right? What is basically all stable coins denominated in? US dollars. So it keeps the US dollar's hegemony as we kind of move into this potential new regime of crypto. It's a really, really, really tactically intelligent and important move for the US if they want to keep their kind of economic stranglehold that realistically they do have on the world right now. So anyway, really, really interesting things going on. I think over the next probably 3, 6, maybe even 9 months, we're going to see some wild things happening. I think in the short term, we're probably going to see an extreme amount of volatility. I would be very, very careful trading high leverage. There's just too many things going on right now. I mean, the macro environment is not really looking particularly positive, but that's not going to stay around forever, right? I mean, ultimately, if it kind of ends as we expect it to, it's going to end in more debt or more money printing, which is a good thing for crypto. Also, more nation states probably are going to be buying, or just nations generally are going to be buying crypto. More institutions are going to be buying crypto. When I say crypto, it's like primarily Bitcoin specifically, right? So there's a lot of things going on here, all roads pointing to crypto. So again, short term, I can't tell you. I don't, I've misplaced my crystal ball. I can't tell you what's going to happen short term, but in my opinion, we zoom out, 3-5 years from now, I mean, we are looking in a really, really, really good spot. So anyway, those are just kind of my thoughts, my opinions, just given kind of what we've seen unfolding over the past day or two. So I just want to leave you with that update, and obviously, you can do with that what you will. I do really hope that you found it valuable, and if you did, please do give me a like and a subscribe. It really, really does help me out, continue to grow the channel, all that type of good stuff. And then also, if you have any thoughts, questions, comments, concerns, whatever, things like that, just let me know. Drop them in the comment section below, and I'll get back to you. I do try to read and respond to all of those. So anyway, thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one.